back to Conservation Baddies podcast.
Hi, it's Cam.
And Hannah.
I use they, them pronouns.
And I use she, her pronouns.
We are recording on Seminole.
And IS land.
And we are Conservation
Baddies. The baddest. This is a podcast where we talk, inform, and highlight some baddies that we know in the conservation field.
Yep. So this week we're going to talk about food waste and also the revival of previously threatened species.
There's been so much going on that I think it's kind of hard to focus on one thing. I almost added another topic into the mix, but I didn't.
Well, I did want to talk about something unrelated to the topic as well.
Go for it. I mean,
as of 9 p.m., more than 1,300 people are after flooding across Europe. And I don't know if you've seen videos of this, but there's I think 60 people have been declared dead. And 9 of those were in an assisted living facility, which we already know. Even in the pandemic, they tend to neglect and leave elderly or whoever's in that facility to fend for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was especially sad. And it's important to note that this flooding is it's worsened by rising sea levels. And it is a human issue. It's not just an environmental issue anymore. It affects people, especially people living in areas with lower sea levels.
I feel like there's been so much flooding lately.
There is.
The videos of New York flooding.
Oh yeah, I didn't even
have you seen those?
New York, but yeah, New York is definitely. And also big note for anybody in New York. I was gonna say a big note is also that anybody that is around flooded areas, do not touch the flood water, the storm water. It potentially full of harmful diseases, and you just don't want to touch dirty water. I mean, it is everything. It's full of bacteria. Please do not risk your life to go to work, because I see people in New York risking their lives to go on a train, and it's just not worth it if you're going to be sick and possibly die. So
I agree. It's not worth it. I have something related to the topic of flooding. Did you hear about the moon's wobble?
No, what is that?
Apparently, NASA said that there's gonna be a wobble in the moon's orbit, which I guess has happened before. Let me look it up so I don't give any incorrect information. But basically, they said that around by 2030-ish, there's gonna be more severe coastal flooding because of the rising sea temperatures, but also the wobble affects the tides, because the moon is the reason we have tides.
That's what I'm saying. People, stop building your houses on the beaches and the coastlines. First of all, people in Miami should know better. Miami Beach, you're gonna be underwater in less than 50 years, okay? Stop doing that. You're gonna lose your money, and it's just so damaging to that environment anyway.
They don't care. They never did care.
They're gonna care when their house literally
what the heck is happening? Can I just
breaks off and goes into the ocean?
So this says that it's a natural wobble, it's just the moon's orbit. So it's a natural thing.
Yeah.
That's not the problem. The problem is that because sea temperature is rising, the flooding is going to be even more severe. And it says that a flip in a natural moon cycle combined with rising seas from climate change will cause rapid and dramatic increases in flooding along U.S. coastlines by the mid-2030s, according to a NASA study. It said that the research published last month, so in June, in the journal Nature Climate Change, found that changes in the coming decades to the angle of the moon's orbit and its alignment with the Earth and Sun will amplify the effects of sea level rise, leading to a sharp rise in high tide flooding in coastal communities. But that just is I mean, I've been trying to be positive lately because I feel like all the news has been really bad. But it just seems to me as though there were so many warning signs, and a lot of people said, we need to act now, and nobody acted fast enough. And now we're seeing all these events,
Yeah.
you know. But I think we should talk about species revivals now because that was a really depressing topic. And I think we should talk about some good news.
Yeah, that's true.
I think we should talk about the gray wolf pups that were born in Colorado for the first time in 80 years.
Woo woo.
That's that's the story. Gray wolf pups were born in Colorado for the first time in nearly 80 years. That's what state wildlife officials said. And this came out in June 12th. And it says that there were a confirmed litter of at least 3 wolf pups with their parents. But yeah, I think that's a great news. Great little, because people for some reason, well, I know why, but they dislike wolves. So I'm glad that they're doing, well, and their population seems to be expanding again.
Yeah, for sure. Reminds me of that video of how the wolves healed.
Oh, the video that every professor
rivers.
I saw that video like 10 times.
What is that one?
It's how the wolves changed. Yeah, the river.
Yeah.
It's like how it's basically how like a top predator being in an ecosystem affects literally everything. So maybe we can link the video.
And mine is about the California condors, who are also were seen in, okay, the last article I posted was in March. This is like a newer one. They found California condors in the wild, and they are a rare species and they have been endangered. And so they haven't been seen in Canyon National Park for a very long time, but they were seen recently. So it's a very hopeful repopulate that park and that area. So let's hope for that. I'm not sure if there was like, if this is directly because of somebody's work. Hold on. Yeah, so it looks like they've been raising them in captivity and releasing them this year. So maybe it is a sign of success for that.
Aw.
So
that's good. That's really awesome.
Also another predator species that, is hunted like wolves.
I was about to say condors are probably really important for the environment because they're one of those top predators.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that I know like climate change is like really sad and ecosystems changing are sad, but then when like certain animals do better, or I know this doesn't have to do with climate change, but there's some species that thrive with it. And I know we're like, oh, people pick and choose what animals they think should be in a certain place, but I like that some species just thrive. Like I might get hate for this, but the Burmese pythons that are in Florida, it sucks that they have changed the ecosystem so much. But it kind of makes me happy when I see some animals doing well, because it just means that even though things might change a lot, life is still probably going to persist,
Okay, that's a hot take.
I try to look on the positive, like
love that.
Are they destroying all of our local animals? Yeah. But are they still an animal that didn't ask to be put in Florida? Also, yes.
That's true. It's not their fault. Don't be mad at them.
No, someone literally took them from another part of the world, brought them here. They somehow got out.
Please do not release snakes into the wild that you bought illegally or even legally. The snake trade, like that's the number one reason that exotic and invasive species get into our ecosystems, is from people just giving up, I guess, on snakes and not realizing they would be that big. Just do your research ahead of time. It's like any pet,
Yeah, I agree. Everything in a pet store starts out small, right? So I didn't realize bearded dragons get as big as they get because every time I go to Petco, they're like they have a tiny little baby. So those things get pretty big. So
Yeah.
I agree with that because there's obviously some snake species that get humongous, and there are some that honestly stay very small. So yeah, just do your research. And also there's different ones that have different temperaments. So, I agree with that. Finally, my weird animal. One of my favorite animals, not this specific species, but turtles. I just love turtles. They're my favorite animal on earth. And I found the dopest looking turtle alive. It's called the punk rock turtle. Let me look up its scientific name because it might have different names. Its scientific name is Elusor macrorus. Macrorus. Elusor macrorus. Yes, okay. The punk turtle or the Mary Rivers turtle. Wow, this little dude, let me tell you, model. Okay, so this turtle has a mohawk made out of algae, I think. It looks like it's algae. And it's a native turtle to southern Queensland. And it says that it's an endangered reptile, which is very sad. Actually, fun fact, I can't remember. I don't think I said this on another episode, but actually over half or about half of the world's turtle species are endangered, which is a lot and very sad. So I guess this is one of the endangered reptiles. So this turtle has a head crowned with vertical strands of algae. Another reason why I love this turtle, because I love algae and I love turtles. Yeah, it says the algae also grows in its body. In addition, it sports face furniture in the form of long, fleshy barbels under its chin. Oh yeah, look at that. You gotta look this thing up because I don't know how else
Yeah,
you'd be
I'm
able
looking
to
at it.
understand what I'm saying. It says its most unusual feature is its ability to breathe through its genitals.
Ew.
And it has gill-like organs within its cloaca. I don't know if people don't know, but a cloaca is in animals that only have one opening to use the bathroom and to reproduce and stuff. It's just like one little opening where they do all that fun stuff. So I guess it also has gills in its butthole that it breathes out of, which is like really cool. I totally forgot about that.
Wait,
So it can
what?
stay
Why
underwater for this is okay. And so it has gill-like organs within its cloaca, a multi-purpose orifice used by reptiles for excretion and mating that allow it to stay underwater for up to 3 days. I don't know how. Oh, so I guess it can breathe. If it's gill-like organs, that means it can breathe underwater.
But okay, explain this to me. So is it breathing in like its own caca? Why are they? Why are
I
its
think
lungs
I
in
think
its
it probably
anus?
holds. I think it probably holds its breath when it like poops.
What?
I mean, I don't know. And maybe it's sometimes accidentally, Okay, it lives in just one location, which is in Queensland. I'm pretty sure Queensland is in Australia. Oh, it says it's more hippie than punk. Historically, this made it a popular pet because it's very docile. And its nest sites in the 60s and 70s were mercilessly pillaged for the pet trade. Aw, and it's one of the world's most endangered turtle species. See, that's really sad. But I'm pretty sure that there are efforts to help it. So I think we'll just link because it looks like there's some local conservation. Curious, I'd have to do some more research about what the algae, on it is for, if it's mutualistic or what. But yeah, that's my weird animal. I think it's very weird because it has a mohawk and it breathes from its butt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I love that animal so much.
me too.
I love Mary.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Um,
Mary River.
is it from the Mary River? Why is it called that?
I don't know. Oh,
Um,
maybe, yeah, Mary River. Yeah, Mary River turtle. I like punk turtle better.
yeah, me too. Let's forget Mary River is even on there.
Okay.
My plant is this, my weird plant. It's not really weird, actually. Interesting plant. I'm bringing this up
Oh,
Yeah, so seagrass is very important for Florida coastlines. Um, just like any plant, it helps reduce erosion, but erosion of the sea bottom. And there's 7 species in Florida, so I'm only gonna do Florida species. I honestly don't know anything about anywhere else. So the most common are shoalgrass, and we can find that in where we live, Hannah. And then there's widgeon grass, stargrass, paddlegrass, and then there's an kind of more threatened one called Johnson seagrass. And the reason why seagrass is so important is because other endangered species like the manatee, the Florida manatee, and sea turtles, and other, other cool fish like the parrotfish,
I
sardinfish,
love those.
pinfish, they all rely on seagrass. It's like a very important species that needs a certain level of water quality, which is why it's being threatened now, especially with like algal blooms and phytoplankton blooms, because they need sunlight. Obviously, they're a plant, so yeah, it's just an important species. There's restoration efforts for it right now, where they're replanting it, and I actually was trying to get involved with that. They put it off because of COVID, which was interesting. So we can see how the pandemic is affecting certain restoration efforts. But there's like a whole company that county hired them to replant seagrass, and it's been going pretty well, I think. But it's still it's hugely impacted by boating and human recreation, where it just gets torn up. It's very fragile. So you'll probably, and like a person that I'm working with on the project, like they find remnants of seagrass all the time. I think it's shoalgrass that they usually find, and it just washes up on the shore. But the good news is you can use those remnants to actually replant it, so it won't go to waste. Manatees, I think, eat like tons of pounds of seagrass, and so it's a huge source of food for them. So that's why you should care about it.
How do you know how fast it
Grows?
Yeah, how fast it grows?
They can grow, actually, this is kind of interesting. They can grow vertically and horizontally. So their roots can go down or sideways.
But do you know, like, if they plant it, how fast it would take for a colony or whatever, or like a big patch to grow in an area and like be like a stable patch
I
that's
don't think
established?
that they've done it enough to know that, but I know that it takes a long time, and it's not always successful.
Okay. And also, so what exactly is your project? You're just looking at different areas with the seagrass?
We're just gonna be interviewing people on like what, like boaters and fisher people.
Fisher people.
Fishers.
Oh my God. Fisher men and women, fisher people. I like fisher people.
I'm just gonna say fishers. It's like
That
less
works.
awkward, but yeah, and what they know about seagrass, and then some experts. I got in contact with an extension agent from the Sea Grant program
Yeah.
to talk about it. They're an extension agent for our county, actually. And
Ooh.
yeah, and then we're gonna be talking about and then showing footage. It's a video, so I'll send it to you when
I
it's done.
gotcha.
Hopefully it's less than 5 minutes, but we're gonna like videotape what the remnants look like, and possibly some restoration footage. But again, they told me they're not gonna be doing that for a while, so.
I gotcha. Time to quickly talk about our heroes, or our undercover heroes. I'll just go really quick. My undercover hero is someone that a lot of people probably heard about, because I think they're starting to get a little bit more recognition. The Black Forager, also known as Alexis Nicole, who she's just so she's just a Black person who forages and like shares her stuff online. I guess she's been doing it for a really long time. She learned from, I think, her parents, and yeah, she just forages for mushrooms, plants, any edible stuff. And I suggest following her online because she puts a lot of interesting content up, and it's a good way to learn about what you can eat in the wild and save money, and also, like, feel more connected to nature. She's goes as a Black Forager on Instagram. That's the only thing I follow her on. So, but yeah, that's my undercover hero. I think she's doing awesome work.
Love her.
Yes.
Mine is a Filipina podcaster, a fellow podcaster and YouTuber. As of recently, I think the last year. But they have their own website. They're the founder of Brown Girl Green. So it's obviously, like it says, it's focused on like environmental issues, but from the perspective of a brown girl. And she, what's cool about her is that she's also a board member of the Filipino American Coalition for Environmental Solidarity. So she does a lot of work for the Philippines and the US. And she's really cool. Her latest video, I think, was Save the Bees a few months ago. So if you care about the bees, you can check that out.
I love bees.
And I guess we should do the music Rex. Okay, mine is a cover of Happy Together. Do you know that song?
Nah, I don't know, but
nobody but you for all my
oh
life.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a cover of that by Slow Thrust. And it's kind of like a more hardcore version of that song. So
okay.
I've been listening to that like a lot the last few months.
Oh yeah, we'll put it on our playlist. Okay, my recommendation for a song. I've been listening to Mac Miller. I've been listening to Mac Miller's late that came out in 2020. I still don't understand how that happens, but it is called Circles. And if I had to pick a song in there to recommend, I'd pick all of them.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a really
good
album. It's a really good album. It's a very vibey, slow, like obviously it's Mac Miller, so it like makes you think. I'm just gonna say track number 3, Blue World, is a really I guess that's the one I'm gonna recommend. They're all really good, but yeah, just vibe out. Go lay in a hammock and look at the clouds and listen to it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
then
we have our book or
I'm looking at your recommendation.
Stop.
No, because yes.
I'm gonna recommend a TV show because I haven't.
I'm gonna change it to kind of match yours.
Okay. I did listen to, if you listen to one of our previous episodes, Hannah recommended the audiobook, The Three Mothers. So I did listen to that, but I don't want to steal that. The one I'm listening to now, I honestly don't enjoy. So I'm going to recommend a TV show, Love Island Season 5. I'm actually rewatching it because of a certain person, the creator of Fanny Flutters, Miss Maura Higgins, I think it is, herself. It's always an enjoyable season to watch. And yeah, I've been watching it with my mom, and she got mad at me the other day for watching it without her. So that's how good it is.
The book I'm currently reading is very heavy, and I'm not done with it, so I don't really want to recommend something that I haven't fully finished, even though I think last week I recommended a book that I hadn't even read yet, or last month. But anyways, my recommendation is going to be 90 Day Fiancé. Listen, I've been watching this show for years, and I recently got Discovery Plus, and they have all the episodes, plus some other extra seasons. And yeah, if you just want really good reality TV that also gives you a view of the world from your comfort of your bed or couch, watch 90 Day Fiancé. There's a lot of content, and it's very interesting. And you'll find couples that you like. There's so many couples on those shows.
Really?
Yeah,
the only one I like is the Colombiana. No, wait. It's Paula, and she goes, I think it's like Tao.
Oh yes, I remember her. I don't really remember her doing anything extra, but you like that couple out of all? Well,
oh well, I haven't seen as many as you, so.
Yeah, no, I've seen all the seasons.
Oh, okay, sorry. How much was Discovery Plus?
What?
How much was Discovery Plus?
I think it's $4.99 or for with ads and $6.99 without.
Okay.
I can give you my login info.
We'll talk after. So we're gonna be interviewing Erika next. She lives in Hawaii and she's doing amazing grad work?
Grad program, grad
research.
work. She's awesome.
In marine plants. So catch that. Thank you for
Now.
listening. Why don't you introduce yourself, your name, your pronouns, any titles that you have?
So my name's Erika Alvarado. My pronouns are she, her, and I guess my official title right now is graduate student. If I'm talking about my current quote unquote profession, I guess.
Hell yeah. Where are you a grad student at?
So currently I'm at the University of Hawaii and I'm working on the island of Oahu. It's been pretty good so far. I'm almost done though. So actually I defend on the 30th of this month and I'm ready to be done. Excited.
Oh my God, congrats. That's
Yeah,
great.
that's awesome.
So was it like a normal 2 years or?
Yeah, I started in August of 2019, so I guess it's like 2 years and then a month or two after that. So yeah, I got lucky because my project was pretty straightforward, so I was able to kind of do it within like a smaller time frame. Because I think most master's students now take like 3 years to complete their projects.
Okay. And what's your grad project or what is it about?
So I am working with seaweed, basically, which here they call it limu, and I'm working on all these samples that are found like really deep in the ocean, and it's pretty cool because there's whole like coral reefs where there isn't really much light penetrating into the water. So up to like 200 meters, we found like algae growing that deep in the water, and because it's so deep, it's really hard to get to. And so only recently people have kind of been categorizing what's down there. So like corals and seaweed. Mostly works on corals because seaweed isn't like a sexy, steady organism, I guess, even though I love it.
I love seaweed and
it
algae.
really hasn't been much work. Yeah, I think they're super beautiful.
Do you have to,
Yeah,
are you like collecting? Oh, I'm sorry. I think my audio is lagging.
Yeah, you are lagging for me a little.
It does it? Okay. Sometimes my Wi-Fi is weird. But I was gonna ask, do you like dive down to get your samples yourself?
No, I really wish that I had like a fieldwork component like that. But there's actually cruises that go out and collect them, and we have like tons and tons of dried samples that we need to work through. A lot that we haven't even touched. I guess new to science species down in that like deep water, like coral ecosystem zone. And really, we probably don't need to go collect anymore because we have so many, and we have samples from like all along, like there's the main Hawaiian Islands, and then to the northwest, there's this like huge expanse of like atolls and tiny baby islands that make up this giant marine national monument. So it's all protected. And so we have like samples going from like the very northwest of the main Hawaiian Islands. And it's kind of hard to get out there, but they do cruises every now and again just to find, what species are out there. And since it's an archipelago, a lot of the species here are only found here and nowhere else. So, and we've been finding that the seaweed too, especially the deeper you go.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's.
Oh my God, am I lagging again?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, I'm gonna find it.
A little bit. It's Zoom, so there's bound to be some issues.
Right. Yeah.
I think Hannah's gonna go to another room.
Okay, can you hear me better?
Yeah, that's way better for me.
Okay, I'll just stay here. Okay, sorry. I always have to run around my house trying to find an area that's working for the day. It's also like super overcast and like rainy today. So, how was like moving to Hawaii? Like how was that?
It was pretty stressful. I think I had this whole idea of what Hawaii would be in my head before moving here, because I've never been here before moving here, and I'm from Idaho, so it's my idea of a big city. Like I've visited big cities, but I've never lived in one. And so that was kind of like a shock in of itself, just like coming to a place where there's people everywhere and you can't get away. Like you go hiking, there's people on all the trails. So that was pretty stressful. And also the climate, like so humid.
Oh yeah, because it's not
Took me
really
like a year
humid.
to Yeah, I'm sure you both know about the humidity being in Florida.
What would you say is like the biggest change?
Probably just the culture here and the fact that it's a big city. Yeah, it's a lot different from back home because there's just mostly white people back home. And then here, there's like a really big Asian community, and like the Hawaiian community is a little bit smaller. I feel like the Asian community is bigger. But part of that's really cool just because I'm able to like try these different foods and things that do not exist in Idaho at all. Yeah, so I've tried like a lot of like Vietnamese and Korean food, and that's been kind of cool exploring all that. But it's really weird going back home, especially for COVID, because I feel here people are really, really safe and wearing your mask, and you're trying to be respectful to other people. So, whenever you're walking along the street, you like put your mask on and then take it off once you pass them. And Idaho is completely different.
Oh yeah,
I believe
Florida's
it.
a mess.
Mm-hmm.
So since you're from like a landlocked, because Idaho's landlocked, right? There's no lake.
Yeah.
It's not by the Well, I mean, like it's not by the Great Lakes, but how did you like become interested in marine and coastal systems? I'm curious.
Part of it was just because I didn't have that growing up nearby, and also when I was really young, like my grandma had all these natural sciencey like picture book things, I guess, and I would just like to flip through them, and I just really like seeing like the different species and things out there. And my favorite one was the marine one. I think probably mostly because it was so like strange to me that these things existed and that people just are able to go out and see them. So yeah, I think that's kind of how I fell in love with it. And with seaweed, I didn't fall in love with, like, I love seaweed. Like that's the steady organism I would love to keep working with in the future. I fell in love with seaweed when I was working in Oregon, thanks to Doris Duke, actually, for the second summer of my internship or whatever. I was working in Oregon, and that's when I learned you could even study that, because I didn't know you could actually just study seaweed and that could be your research. I mean, I didn't really think of it before, I guess, but there was this woman there who had like a class where they pressed algae and stuff, and I'd go in at night and like press these different algae from like the tanks, and I just thought they were so beautiful and super relaxing. And yeah, then I kind of got hooked on algae, so here I am studying it. I'm very blessed to be here.
Seaweed queen.
Yeah.
We love it. That's actually
that's
Oh,
go. Sorry, you can go.
Well, I was gonna ask, like, I was really interested in what were some of the coolest things that you've seen in Hawaii, like, especially in the deep ocean, because we know nothing about it. It's crazy. We know so much about space and like stuff that doesn't matter, but I think everyone's too scared to like go deep in the ocean. So
yeah, I haven't been super deep in the ocean, but like I know they have a lot of pictures from their cruises when they collect all the samples, and there's like a lot of really like weird invertebrates and stuff down there, which are even more understudied than seaweed. There's so many new species and things, or not new species, but I guess new to science anyway, species that exist down there. And I don't know, I wish I could like show you pictures of them because they're just really interesting. I like
send
a lot
them
of
to me. I want to
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I will.
When you talk about these cruises, is it just like research boats that are just on the water for several days at a time, or?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So they
Yeah.
like live on the boat for a while?
Yeah,
Wow.
I think they go out for like multiple, like a month or something at a time, because to get to like the really northwest portion like of the protected monument, it's like it takes a long time to get there. So when they go out there, they just like, you know, spend a lot of time collecting. And I think it's mostly NOAA who runs those cruises. And then I know some of the students in my lab previously were able to like get on the cruises and help process samples and things. Yeah, they're out there for quite a while.
That's crazy. I don't know if I could do that.
How do they store the seaweed? Like, do they just have giant refrigerators filled with frozen SW?
Yeah, they do that for some of them, and then the other ones, well, they've kind of like, I guess, streamlined it over the years because they weren't really collecting a lot of seaweed samples before. So they used to press them on the ship, and they would like put like a little piece of seaweed in like a silica voucher so it would be dried out, and then that's what we use to get DNA from. And sometimes they put it in formalin, which I don't really like to mess with because that stuff can be like hazardous. And they did actually stick some of them in like big plastic baggies and freeze them, so they were pressed here. So there's kind of like a lot of different ways to collect it.
That's really cool. Do you ever eat any of them?
No.
I don't know if you'd want to, but I just know that seaweed is edible. So.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Isn't some algae edible too?
Seaweed is algae. It's macroalgae.
Oh, you're schooling me. Okay.
Erica, I randomly at this job I have right now, they like it's like an aquaculture research lab, and they just threw me into managing their algae. So like for the last year and a half, I've just been like working with algae every day, and I agree with you. Like it's like so cool, but I never thought I'd be interested in it. It just seems like unimportant until you realize how important it is.
Right? Yeah. What type of algae do you work with?
I work with mainly diatoms. It's just like single cellular diatoms and then some green algae species that I can't remember the names of, but I think I work with like 6 different species. They're really cool. They're so little and cute, and just they do so much.
Yeah, the little ones are really beautiful too.
Yeah, we don't have one of those really intense like microscopes to see like all the insides, but do you have one of those? Wait, oh, but you're not really. Do you work with like other algae other than just seaweed?
No, I have before, but yeah, I've never actually seen them under the little microscopes. That would be really cool though.
Right? I bet those things are so expensive.
Yeah.
I'm trying to find the best question to like segue into.
Yeah. Well, Erica, I put in a lot of questions because I was always interested in like when you were involved with like van life. And that I always thought that was so cool. I know that I think you're not doing that anymore because I think I remember you said it got tiring or something like that. But I was always interested in like what your experience was like and how you got into it.
Yeah, I think I just got into it through like, you know, YouTube videos and things like that of people doing it. And I knew Hawaii was going to be super expensive, so I wanted to save a bunch of money. So yeah, I only did it for a few months here. And actually my mom was like watching my cat for me, so like I was able to do it easier. And then I guess she just became a handful, so I had to like bring her back with me to Hawaii, and it just wouldn't be possible keeping her like in a van during the day and stuff when I'm at school, and there's so many people and cars here. Like it's a whole different environment. And I think when I first came here, I thought it would be like I could just get away and go camping easily, and kind of like Idaho. I was just kind of naive, I guess, to like what Oahu was and like how big of a population was really here. But I still have my van. I love my van. It's going to be my money pit because I don't have children and don't plan on buying a house ever. So yeah, I actually want to go back and do it once I go back home. Like I have some plans on how to like fix it up. And I was really lucky because I found a really cheap van kind of where I went to undergrad. and it's been pretty nice. It's been expensive to fix, but you know, starts up every time. It's like runs really well, and I was also lucky enough that my dad, he has a lot of knowledge on how to like build things, because he's like really good with his hands, like construction, electrical, all that sort of stuff. So after I graduated with my undergrad, I just went home for a while and he helped me build out the inside of it. And I didn't have to buy the tools or anything. I just like bummed his tools to do it. And that was really dope because I was actually able to learn how to like build stuff too. So I feel a little bit more competent on like how to like use hand tools and how to build stuff. And even if all the problems that have gone wrong with the van mechanically, like I feel I have a little bit of like mechanical knowledge now, like how to fix things and what, you know, noises or what problem. But yeah, it was definitely an experience. Here it was hard just because there were people everywhere and I was by myself when I first came here. So I was like always really sketched out and had to make sure nobody knew I was like in the van because I didn't want people breaking in because there's a lot of break-ins here. I guess it also kind of worked to my advantage because nobody probably wants to break into a van that looks like someone's living into just because they probably don't want to fuck with that. So yeah, it was a whole experience, but you know, I'm glad I did it. I did save a lot of money living in it for as long as I did. And yeah, I want to try it again where I'm able to like get away from the city much easier.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about with like number one, safety, and number two, I don't know how to build things and I don't know anybody that does. Like those are really practical skills, but I feel like once I bought a van, like I wouldn't know what to do with it and I would probably hurt myself. But I don't know. Maybe I'll just keep dreaming.
Yeah, we could come to Idaho.
I'll come to Idaho and you'll teach me. You could do a master class.
Yeah, that's true. There are a lot of people too who like make money by buying vans and building them, and I don't know if I'd want to do that now, but
if you ever build a van, I'll buy it off of you. I'll save up to afford your expertise.
Yeah, it's more fun building it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because you get to decide like where you want your things to be, like, you know, and then after living in it too for a while, you like realize, okay, no, kind of want to do this a different way. Like my van has a high top, but it's like only like a foot tall. But I saw there's this video of this guy who like built his own high top for his van. And so you can like put storage in it, and he put a little like plexiglass thing on top so you can see the stars and stuff. Like there are some cool ways people do it.
That's really cool. What about a tiny house? Did you ever get a tiny house, or is it just like you like a van because you can move around easier?
Yeah, I've always been in love with tiny houses. Eventually that's my like goal, is to get a tiny house. But yeah, I'm not like stable right now just because I'm moving around a lot. I'm in school, I'm gonna go home, I don't know where I'm gonna work.
I feel that. Yeah, I've seen videos of people building tiny houses on like family members' property, so then they also save money on like having to pay like property taxes and rent and stuff.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, because everything is so expensive now, and in Hawaii it's probably way more expensive.
Yeah, it's pretty insane here. I mean, I think the rent probably is comparable to like a lot of cities in the US. I mean, you can find like cheapish, not cheap, but why cheap sort of places to live. Yeah, the problem is the food. It's so expensive here. I guess it's probably because they have to ship it all over here. Yeah, my grocery bills are like 2 times what they were on the mainland.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I've heard a lot of horror stories about how expensive it is to live there if you're not. Well, I don't know if this is true, like if it's expensive for everyone, or if it's just like outsiders essentially moving there.
Yeah, it's expensive for everybody, even like the people living here. If you want to buy a house here, I think it's like $1 million or more.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so
oh my God, that's
expensive.
yeah.
Yeah,
so
but
no house there.
Yeah, I never plan on like buying a house here. And a lot of people too, like who have money to do that, they'll come here and buy a house and then rent it out for Airbnb or something like that. But that and tourism like really drives the prices up for people who are living here, like local people. And it makes it really hard for them to like afford to live here because they're like, you know, a lot of the workers kind of like I guess they like support all this like tourism and stuff like that because they work all these jobs that need to be done, but they're not getting paid more. The prices are just going up and up and up. It's like a lot of gentrification here too.
Oh, that's sad.
Yeah.
But how was your overall experience in grad school there?
It's good. I mean, I don't really like school. I'm just doing grad school, you know, to get that other piece of paper. So hopefully I can get paid a little bit more and get like a more stable job. But I have learned a lot. I've met like a lot of cool people. Yeah, but since being in school, and I didn't take a break between undergrad and grad school, and I feel like maybe I should have. That way I could be like more mentally prepared to be in school again. Yeah, I'm really ready to be done. But
yeah, but oh, sorry.
no, go ahead.
I was gonna say the good thing about going right after is like then it's like you're done with it, and when you're done, you're done. You don't ever have to go back or think about it.
Yeah, that's my main
You
thing.
know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no way in hell I'm getting a PhD. Like
I was just about to ask.
yeah,
Every time people mention the word PhD to me, I'm like, no, get that out of my face.
Exactly. Yeah, and being in grad school too, it's interesting because they kind of just expect that's what you want to do is to get a PhD and then be in academia. Because I've been in classes like, oh, once you guys graduate for your doctor, you know, doctorate degree or whatever, and it's like there's people here who don't want to do that. Like it's just they're just trying to streamline you back into academia, it seems like. Because to them that's obviously like where you want to go if you're in grad school, but it's a little disappointing not seeing like other things you can do like represented more or people even talking about it. Yeah, it just seems like academia is kind of like just assumed what you want to do and it's kind of like shoved down our throats in a way.
Well, it also like makes them more money and makes them look better, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw, but we have like 10 minutes left. So Hannah's like lagging a bit, but she had a really good question, and it seemed like before you've expressed wanting to mix art and conservation. And I don't know if you wanted to go into that more about the importance of creating more art and getting that message across through that medium in ways that you do that possibly.
I really wish I did more of that. I feel like I've kind of lost a little bit of my artistic self since being in grad school, and I'm hoping to kind of regain more of that once I graduate and have some more time to do what I want and, you know, not doing something just to like graduate or get a degree or whatever. Not that I don't like my project, you know, but I've seen some really like cool things people have done with art and science together, just like environmental activism sort of things. Like, I don't know if you both know about, I don't know the artist's name, but they make the underwater sculptures that coral reefs then like build upon. And they have some of these like statues and I guess, yeah, statues that they put underwater that are like really funny. Like there's this one dude watching TV on like a little chair, and then there's like a group of people standing in a circle. And I've seen some other stuff, like at the school where I did my undergrad, there was this professor who, well, we have like a bark beetle problem there. So like these bark beetles will basically decimate pine forests. And he built little like clay bark beetles and painted them to look really cute and put a pheromone packet inside of these like little ceramic sculptures that he made, and then he would nail it to a tree, and the pheromone was the pheromone that the bark beetles would give out once they've already like destroyed a tree, so the other beetles know not to go there anymore. And he'd put these on healthy trees so that the bark beetles would kind of stay away. And there's a lot of cool things too that people can do with art and science. I think the hard part is like finding those opportunities and I guess funding for it, because art's pretty underfunded in general, and science too, so it's like a double whammy. But yeah, I do think it's super important because it can get message across in a way that's not as cut and dry as looking at like a graph of how temperature has been increasing.
Yeah, graphs are boring. I'm ready to get rid of graphs.
Right?
I
I
love
feel like-
graphs,
Oh, okay, sorry.
but I hate scientific posters. They're ugly, and I don't like the
Oh.
format, and I hate research papers. I hate how clean and dry they have to be. I wish you could just like tell a story.
Yeah,
You know?
like interpretation. I'm learning a lot about interpretation right now, and I think it's super cool. I get to make my own little project for a class I'm taking.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what is
That's
that?
really cool. Oh, sorry.
Interpretation.
Yeah.
It's like what Hannah was saying, like storytelling, like getting people to care, making a presentation, or even just like interpreting stuff while you're on a trail for different audiences, like kids. You would want to make it like a little more fun and a little more like fantasy, not necessarily focus on like technical terms, but you adjust it based on who you're talking to, just to get them more involved in like their local ecosystem.
That's super fun.
Yeah, it seems really fun. That'd be something I'm interested in doing.
Yeah.
But was the sculpture, I looked up the sculpture artist, is it Jason Taylor? Does that sound familiar?
Let me check.
I found one with someone watching TV.
That beetle art project is so cool. Like, that's not at all what I was thinking when I thought conservation and art mixed together. That's like so cool. Such an
Yeah.
awesome solution.
Yeah, I think it really have to be done like wide scale. But that'd be pretty
Oh,
sick.
like putting the beetles all over the place?
Yeah.
Hmm. Are you looking up the artist or?
Oh, yeah. It is.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Jason Taylor.
There's this other person. Wait, let me see if this is the same person. I follow this guy on Twitter, Jason Taylor, the football defensive end.
No.
A football player showed up when I put that
Can you
in.
imagine conservation, art, and sports? Okay, King.
Multi-talented. Oh, I see. Oh, whoa, that's really cool. That reminds me of this one person I follow on Twitter. Let me find what his name is. He makes sculptures. He made this really big one out of a bunch of plastic straws that people had thrown away. And he just like makes art out of trash, I guess, that to show how we shouldn't be using like single-use stuff. Von Wong, I think that's yeah, his name is Von Wong. He made a artwork out of 168,000 straws recovered from the streets of Vietnam.
Damn.
Yeah, he's on Twitter at the Von Wong. Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Wait, how do you spell his first name?
VON and then WONG.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So hopefully in the future, like art and conservation or art in the environment are more like connected, used together.
Yeah, I think it's happening a little bit more. Because I've been seeing like some more of it than, well, I guess this is my first time really like in the marine world, but I've been seeing it a little bit more. There's also this place in Oregon called Washed Ashore, and they do something similar where they do like beach cleanups and they use all these different plastic pieces to create like marine organisms. Like they use a bunch of old styrofoam to create like bleached coral, and that was super cool.
Thank you
Glad
so
you're
much,
fine.
Erica, for this interview. I mean, I learned a lot, and I'm gonna hit you up about the van again.
Yeah, please do.
Yes, thank you. You're so awesome. You're doing such awesome things. I'm excited for when you graduate grad school.
God, me too.
Come visit us in Florida.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. You're always welcome in Idaho too.
Ooh,
I've
yes.
never been there, so yeah.
Me either. Thank you
Thanks
for
for listening to episode 4. We're a mess. Okay, see you guys next month. Bye.
Thank you for listening.